Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Also, speaking of AFA and our naughty and nice list, we've had to move Walgreens from the nice category to the marginal category. They made a shift in their advertising promotions. It's mostly holiday this and holiday that, very rarely using the word Christmas. So Walgreens is now on our marginal list. They're under a yellow light at this point. And again, we are encouraging our network to boycott Gap and Old Navy and Banana Republic this Christmas, all part of the same corporate umbrella. They resolutely refusing to use the word Christmas and have done so for years. And by the way, we've got our Christmas buttons. Time is running out. We've still got some in the inventory. Beautiful Christmas buttons for this year. We've got them in boxes of 10. We have in boxes of 250. We have Merry Christmas yard signs. Deb and I just put our yard sign up in our yard, so everybody drives by your property can see your stand. I mean, this year's yard sign's got the word Jesus. I mean, it's that you can't miss it. I mean, it says Jesus. That's the one word you see. He came for you, fitting with the theme of our Christmas buttons this year. So you can go to afr.net. You can get them in packs of 10. You get them in packs of 30. You can get them for your church in boxes of 250. Order them up, set them out on the foyer, and encourage all your people to wear one home. Maybe grab an extra one to give away to a cashier or somebody they see at a store. So all of that is going on. And this is the time of year when we join with Gospel for Asia. We call it our Critter Campaign. This is where we give you an opportunity to give gifts to needy families in Asia. You can give a water buffalo. You can give a pair of chickens. You can give a sewing machine. This has been a favorite for Debbie and I to give over the last several years because Debbie actually worked us through grad school as a seamstress, a very accomplished seamstress. So it gives her a great sense of reward to be able to give a sewing machine to a woman in Asia who may be able to use that to provide for her family, just as her sewing skills enabled her to help us get through grad school. So all these gifts go to impoverished families in Asia, can impact their lives not only for time but also for eternity. Go to afr.net. You can go to afr.net and get all of the information that you need there. You can give a pair of chickens for $11. You can give a goat for $70, a water buffalo for $460, a pair of lambs for $130, a pair of pigs for $65. You can send them the Barnyard Bundle for $678. That's got 6 chickens, 2 goats, 1 lamb, 1 cow, 2 pigs, and a partridge in a pear tree. No, I just added that last part. By the way, I don't know if you saw this, that to provide all of the gifts for the 12 days of Christmas cost you $107,300. $107,300 to get the Lords of Leaping and the Maids of Milking and all that kind of stuff. So the price has gone up. I mean, it's up from last year. So this is a bargain. You're going to celebrate the 12 days of Christmas. You want to give somebody in Asia the stuff for the 12 days of Christmas. Cost you $107,000 to send them 5 Lords of Leaping or whatever it is. But you can send them a Barnyard Bundle, 6 chickens, 2 goats, 1 lamb, 1 cow, and 2 pigs for $678. Biosand water filter, huge asset for hygiene and health for just $30. You can help a child for a year with education for $420, a sewing machine for $85. It's operated by a foot treadle, so you don't have to have electricity to make the thing work. You can contribute to a women's literacy program for $25, mosquito nets, pack of 4 for $40. You can help widows and abandoned children for $75, vacation Bible school for $5, pack of 7 Bibles for $21, a rickshaw for about $200. So that would give a guy an opportunity to run his own taxi service using a rickshaw. And you can provide a Jesus well. Again, that'll be helpful for an entire village. You can boost the health of an entire village for $1,000 by providing one of these Jesus wells. So again, Gospel for Asia, go to afa.net. Now let's grab a couple of sound bites if we can. We've got this fiscal cliff coming up. And here is Mark Levin. This is clip number 2. Mark Levin, and he's basically arguing that what Republicans ought to do is just let this thing happen. Because the fiscal cliff, it's not going to result in cuts. in spending. Don't let anybody lie to you about that. This sequester everybody's talking about is going to gut the military. It's going to cripple entitlement program. It's going to do nothing of the sort. Now, it's going to put a crimp in the military, but I'm one of those people that believes there's probably some crimping that can be done. We can get a leaner, meaner, more efficient military. I am betting they can find a way to trim their sales by $50 billion a year. It's not going to gut them. Now, I think we need to make sure that our defense is priority one, so that needs to be at the top of the heap because that's one of the constitutional responsibilities that the government has. And I think the sequester thing is misshapen because 42% of the impact is felt by the military and only 18% with entitlement programs. But at any rate, and so the sequester is not going to cut spending. Don't let anybody tell you that. It is going to reduce the amount of increased spending. Spending is still going to go up. It's still going to go up dramatically. It's still going to go up by big jumps. It's just the jump is not going to be quite as far if the sequester goes into effect. So don't let anybody lie to you. This is not a reduction, a cut in government spending. It is a cut in the rate of growth. Two completely different things. But here's Mark Levin saying, look, we ought to just let this thing happen.
So I've come to the conclusion, I've been flirting with this. I told you this the last week or the week before. Let the fiscal cliff happen. What did he say? Let it happen. Let it happen. Because the alternative is worse in my view.
Whatever boondoggle deal the Republicans and Democrats would cook up together, which is just going to be horrible, it's going to involve tax increases. And ladies and gentlemen, we do not want taxes increased on anybody. I repeat, we do not want taxes increased or raised on anybody, especially on job creators. That's the worst place. I mean, you don't want to raise taxes on anybody, but you talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face. I've never understood that allegory or that simile or an analogy. But you talk about crippling your economy. Take more money away from the people that are having trouble hiring people right now. Make it harder for them to hire people. Make it harder for them to expand. I mean, it's just inane. It's just lunacy. It is economically moronic to think that somehow we're going to help the economy by taking more money in taxes from the producers. But here's Mark Levin. This is the second clip number 3, Mark Levin, again saying, look, the problem we've got here, and this is why the alternative is worse, you got a lot of Republicans out there, Republicans that actually want to raise taxes and are intent on raising taxes. Let's listen.
The attacks on Norquist and on this no tax pledge are intended, and by the way, are bipartisan, to attack you. They really have nothing to do with Norquist or the tax pledge. The Democrats don't want to reduce the size of this massive government that's becoming even more massive because they want it. They like it. They're attached to it. They're appendages to each other. Now, the Republicans, on the other hand, are attacking Norquist and the no tax pledge because the Republicans really want to raise taxes. They have wanted to raise taxes for the longest time. They're not Reaganites. They're not conservatives. We've got to get that through our heads. They don't believe in this. They believe in government. Maybe a different type of government, maybe not as big as the Democrats, but they believe in the status quo. What did Boehner say when he was interviewed by Diane Sawyer? Obamacare's the law. That's what he said. He's been trying to walk it back, but that's what he said, and that's what he meant.
And speaking of a Republican who wants big government and wants to raise taxes, here is Senator Bob Corker from Republican now, from Tennessee, talking to Charlie Rose on CBS News this morning. Let's listen.
Are you prepared, as others are doing, to sort of say, I'm going to forego the pledge because it is outdated and the country's problems are too big?
Well, I'm not obligated on the pledge. I made Tennesseans aware. I was just elected that the only thing I'm honoring is the oath that I take when I serve, when I'm sworn in this January.
So Bob Corker says, yeah, I'll raise taxes. I'll soak the rich. I got no problem doing that. I can break my promise that I made to the people of Tennessee that I wouldn't raise taxes. I took an oath. I signed the pledge. I said I wouldn't raise taxes on you people in Tennessee, and I'm going to go back to D.C. this month, and I'm going to break my promise to them. I'm not a man of my word, and I'm proud to say it on CBS television. Now, here is Eric Cantor. Even Eric Cantor is going off reservation. Here's a guy you thought you could count on, And even he is going off reservation on this pledge. And once again, Mark Levin is exactly right. This Grover Norquist, it's not a pledge to Grover Norquist. It is a pledge to your own constituents. I will not vote for a tax increase on you. This has nothing to do with Grover Norquist. He just gave you an opportunity to make a promise to your constituents. Here's Eric Cantor.
And I will tell you, when I go to the constituents that have re-elected me, it is not about that pledge. It really is about trying to solve problems. And as we know, this election that we just went through was very much about, number one, what are we going to do to reclaim a momentum in this economy? How do we get us back to that? And two, how do you solve a problem?
So he says it's all about solving problems. And if I have to break the pledge to not raise taxes, I will be happy to do it. That is the implication. Now, here's Grover Norquist, clip 6, explaining, look, this is not about me, and he's exactly right in what he says. Let's listen.
Corker was elected to the Senate because he took the pledge, and people had thought maybe he was too moderate, maybe he wouldn't make it, but he made that written commitment to the people of Tennessee. He would not be a senator today if he hadn't made that commitment. If he breaks it, he's going to have a conversation with the people of Tennessee about his keeping his word. And the same thing with other people who are elected because they made that written commitment to the people of their state.
So Norquist is exactly right. Look, this is an issue. This is not, I mean, everybody's making this about Grover Norquist. You know, and I find it kind of hilarious. Now, I have my own bone to pick with Grover Norquist because he's a big-time proponent of the homosexual agenda in the Republican Party. So I got no truck with him on that. But on the Americans for Tax Reform, he is dead right. He's right on the money, and I'm happy to league with him when it comes to the tax issue. And you know, everybody's saying, hey, well, maybe Grover Norquist, maybe the GOP is over Grover. Maybe Grover's history. Grover's lost his juice. Grover's lost his pull. And then everywhere I look on the news shows, everywhere I look, it's Grover Norquist. Grover Norquist on Fox News, Grover Norquist on NBC, Grover Norquist on MSNBC, Grover Norquist on CNN. I mean, that hardly looks over to me. He is the center of the conversation, and is exactly right. Nobody made a promise to him. Nobody made a promise to Grover Norquist. The promise they made was to their constituents, and Republicans are getting ready to break it.